You ever sit alone at night, heart pounding, wondering, who am I, really? Do I deserve love? Will I ever feel confident? That voice, that whisper in your head, doesn't come from outside. It's from within, self-doubt. But here's the shocking truth. Confidence is not born from success. It is forged by philosophy, reflection, and daily struggle. In this video, I'll take you on a journey from the darkest corners of self-doubt to the light of self-respect. Along the way, we'll explore how thinkers like Kant, Nietzsche, Rousseau, and modern psychology help us rebuild our inner fortress so you can stand firm, speak clearly, live boldly. But be warned, this isn't fluffy motivation. It demands introspection. Ready? Let's begin. What is self-doubt? It's more than fear or insecurity. It's a narrative you've accepted, a story told by external voices, parents, critics, media, that invaded your mind and made you question your worth. Philosophers differentiate between recognition self-respect and evaluative self-respect. The first is, I am worthy because I am a person. The second is, I am worthy because of what I do or become. Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. For many, confidence collapses because we tied our self-worth wholly to outcomes. Fail once, and we feel worthless. But the more stable ground is recognition respect, a dignity that doesn't vanish with success or failure. Consider Jean-Jacques Rousseau's concept of amour propre, the kind of self-love dependent upon how others see us. It's fragile, forever seeking validation. In contrast, amour de soi, a more natural self-regard, values you irrespective of praise. So our first task, separate your value from performance. Separate your core from the applause. How do you rebuild from doubt? Philosophy gives us tools. Let me share 5. 1. The Kantian imperative of respect. Immanuel Kant taught that every person has inherent dignity as a rational agent. This means you owe yourself respect, not because of what you achieve, but because you think, choose, act. When you act dishonorably to yourself, compromise your principles, you erode your dignity. Hold yourself to standards that purify the self. 2. Nietzsche's self-creation. Nietzsche rejects passive identity. He says, become who you are. Confidence grows as you take ownership, choose values, test yourself, reinvent boundaries. You don't find confidence, you create it through struggle. 3. Rousseau's authentic self. Return inward. Rousseau argues society corrupts natural self-esteem. We must resist comparative envy and false standards, listening instead to the voice within, even if it conflicts with the crowd. 4. Existential choice and ownership. Sartre declared, we are condemned to freedom. Every moment you create your identity by what you choose. Confidence arises when you stop blaming conditions and accept responsibility, even for your past. You author your life. 5. Stoic inner citadel. Stoics teach your judgments, not external events, cause suffering. Build an inner fortress immune to praise or blame. Confidence is an internal stability, not a reflection in mirrors. As you work with these tools, you'll rebuild a foundation not in applause, but in your own unshakable self. Philosophy is majestic, but it must integrate psychology and story or it remains cold. Let me ground this with real elements. Self-efficacy by Bandura is belief in your capacity to succeed in tasks. Confidence emerges from small wins. You accumulate credibility with yourself. Self-compassion by Neff says, treat yourself with kindness when you fail. See suffering as universal and stay mindful, not self-critical. It heals the wound, enabling you to take next risks. Case study: the artist who lost confidence. Imagine a painter whose works no longer sell. The outer affirmation dries. She spirals into self-doubt. But one day she applies the philosophical tools, rejects comparison, paints privately, honors her process. Slowly she paints again, not because of buyers, but because she is an artist. Her confidence shifts inward. Story: the scholar and the jealous critic. A philosopher publishes a controversial work. Critics lash. He doubts. But he recalls Kant's dignity and Nietzsche's becoming. He writes another book, not for acclaim, but for truth. He stands firm in his voice. That is philosophical confidence. Theory is nothing without practice. Here is your 5-step daily blueprint to move from doubt to respect. Morning affirmation of intrinsic worth. Say aloud, "I am worthy just because I exist, not because I perform." Do it for 3 mornings straight without judgment. Micro challenges. Do small acts that stretch your boundaries. Speak your truth. Resist praise-seeking. Set a boundary. Every act of integrity adds strength. Reflection journal. Write 3 times a week. Where did I compromise? Where did I act confidently? What inner judgment haunted me? Reflect philosophically. What would Kant say? Nietzsche. Compassion ritual. When you fail, treat yourself as you'd treat a friend. Apply self-compassion. Remind yourself that failure is universal. Mind your judging voice. Choose your company. Surround yourself with people who don't demand your performance, but your authenticity. Share your internal journey, not just victories. Bonus: quiet walks, silence breaks, philosophical reading. Build inner spaciousness. Confidence is not linear. There will be relapse. Doubt returns. This is normal. When doubt returns, respond not by panic, but with philosophical lens. Ask, which voice is this? Is it mine or a borrowed critic? Pause. Don't react immediately. Let negative self-talk sit in the courtyard until it yields. Re-anchor. Return to dignity, to values, to self-respect. Recall Rawls's theory. Self-respect is not just personal, but political. Society is just if it sustains citizens' sense of worth. We fight external injustice not just for others, but for our internal fabric. Phil Archive. Sometimes confidence wavers because you forgot your framework. Return to the philosophical foundations. Reaffirm your value not by what you produce, but by who you are. From self-doubt to self-respect is not a journey across days, it's a lifetime battle. But every step taken in integrity, reflection, resistance is victory. You don't need the world to approve you, you need yourself to stand. Once that foundation is built, external storms shake you less. If this video resonated, I invite you to subscribe, share it with someone who's doubting, and comment your current struggle with self-worth. Let's build a community that doesn't demand perfection, but demands courage to grow. Because confidence, at its core, is the quiet voice that says, "I matter."